Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you on this beautiful day. It's the 19th day of November 2024. I'm Tisha Hines. We'll be here with you for Morning Barbados until 8 o'clock this morning. I certainly hope you are making the best of our independent season. There's lots happening. We're going to share about what's coming up. I think the next thing on the calendar is the Thanksgiving service. You, of course, can look forward to seeing it right here on CBC TV8. We, of course, encourage you to follow us online. Everywhere socials are found, or you can email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Of course, we want to hear what's happening in communities across Barbados, and we are truly here to share the successes of all Barbadians, near and far. Now, we wanted to get started this morning in talking about all that Barbados is doing all across the world, not just here on island or across the region. And to join us in this conversation is a familiar face. Of course, we have Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM. He joins us every single Tuesday. Today's no different. His Excellency David Comichon. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, Tisha. Thank you very much.
Great to have you here with us. And I see that you are fitting in very well with our updated decor to suit independence.
Yes, and we are kind of matching. I don't know, it's a spiritual thing.
It's true, as we often do, we often match. All right, so, we were talking even before we came on air about the role Barbados is playing on the global stage. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes we look on and we might feature tidbits of what's happening in the news. Mm-hmm. But to generally see the place Barbados is taking on the international stage, a leadership role really, in, all manner of issues is truly heartwarming.
Yes, and what caused me to think about this is that right now the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the COP29, is taking place in Azerbaijan. In fact, we are now into the second week of COP29. And of course, we all saw the clip of Prime Minister Motley making her address to COP29, and I hope we can play a little bit of her statement. So here is Barbados playing its role in the fight against global warming, and much of what she says and much of what is echoed by several other speakers is rooted in the Bridgetown Initiative. This vehicle for reforming the international financial and economic order that Barbados is championing. And then in the first week of COP, in fact, I think the first day of the COP conference, we get this announcement that Barbados, along with France and Kenya, will be leading a coalition of countries fighting for global solidarity levies on the carbon-producing industries. And it just brought to my mind this remarkable role that our little Caribbean country is playing in so many areas of international affairs. So, we could get into a deeper discussion on that as we go along.
Absolutely. What does it mean for Barbados generally? Because we talked about being seen on the international stage. What does that mean in real terms as we talk about what Barbados will be able to do, whether through trade, development, adapting certain best practices, making linkages? What does it mean for the average Barbadian?
Well, even beyond just the average Barbadian, let's first of all make the point that Barbados is trying hard to save the entire Earth, humanity, from a global catastrophe, climate change, where if the rise in the Earth's temperature, in the world's temperature, breaches that 1.5 degree increase, or even the 2 degree, or Lord help us, a 3 degree increase, it is going to mean catastrophic consequences for all of us. But okay, if you want to bring it down to the average Barbadian, I mean, our advocacy thus far over the last 2 to 3 years has delivered to Barbados. For example, we got an increase in our stock of IMF special drawing rights that translated to something like close to $100 million dollars, right, in bolstering our access to foreign currency. Through our advocacy, we were able to get the IMF to reduce the surcharges that they charge on loans to developing countries. That reduced the interest payments that we are making to the IMF. Through our advocacy, we have gotten international institutions to more embrace debt swaps, and we have seen how we have benefited from two debt swaps. We have gotten the international financial institutions to embrace the ideas of debt pause clauses that we have been putting into our debt instruments, so that if we are hit, God forbid, by a natural disaster, we can actually pause, the payments on our international debt for 2 years. So we have seen some very real benefits for Barbados. We are now the president of UNCTAD. We were the first small island developing state to actually host UNCTAD 15, that was held right here in Barbados, and we assumed the presidency for 4 years. We are now working with the UNCTAD Secretariat, not only to put in place across the board internationally, better trade and development terms for small island developing states like Barbados and the other CARICOM countries, but we are getting them to kind of repurpose the UNCTAD Secretariat so that they will work more closely with our CARICOM institutions, but also, even our national institutions. So there are tremendous benefits all across the board. But the latest one, right now at COP, there's all kind of deadlock. But we have come up with this idea, look, there's a way, we can find a way to generating more resources for small developing countries through this idea of solidarity levies. And, and we have been able to get not just developing countries in the coalition, but developed countries, France, Spain, and Denmark. So this, to my mind, is one of the really bright spots of this current COP, even as we are hoping that this week, the second week, they're going to break much of the deadlock, and this COP will actually deliver some real results. But we can rack up at least one achievement thus far, and that is that coalition that will be led by Barbados, France, and Kenya to put in place these new taxes on the carbon-producing industries that generate great profits: aviation, shipping, the oil and gas industry, and that will produce real resources that developing countries like Barbados can use.
All right, so let's listen in as PM Motley presented on the, all the dangers of a climate catastrophe at COP29.
Crisis. We are in a season of superlatives. And the reality is that these extreme weather events that the world is facing daily suggest that humanity and the planet are hurtling towards catastrophe. The extreme weather requires from us a serious commitment at this COP with respect to new collective quantified goals that enable us to reverse the current trajectory and to fund mitigation, adaptation, and of course loss and damage. My friends, every COP must make progress irrespective of the geopolitical dynamics. There is an urgent need to reform this COP process, and I hope that we can meet that as we go forward.
All right, so that was PM Motley's presentation at COP29.
That was her sounding the alarm at the very beginning of this COP. And she has emerged as the most powerful political voice on the international scene on this issue of the climate crisis, global warming. And in her address, her short address, she actually laid out what needs to be the agenda for this COP, because she made the point about that this COP needs to be used to seriously capitalize the loss and damage fund that will provide resources for countries, especially developing countries, that are hit by these negative consequences of global warming. She made the case in her speech, Tisha, for those solidarity levies on the carbon-producing industries, and that was delivered virtually a day or two after. She made the case for a global agreement on methane. She says that we are overlooking the very serious effect of this greenhouse gas, methane, and that the world needs to come up with a special agreement to deal with it. She made the case for a global carbon market to be established, and this is where countries that do things that reduce greenhouse gases. For example, a country might engage in reforestation, or a country might phase out a coal-powered plant and replace it with a renewable energy source, that you get a credit. You get a carbon credit for that, which you can trade and monetize. So this incentivizes countries and companies to really go in that direction. So she laid out the whole agenda for what this COP should achieve, and we can only hope that her words of urgency and encouragement bear fruit.
All right, so it's 13 minutes now after 6 o'clock. We're going to take a break here and come back and continue our discussion on what's been happening at COP29, happening now in Azerbaijan. Up next, we're going to look at what some of the other Caribbean leaders have been sharing at the conference, specifically the leader of Grenada. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 3rd.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. Today, Tuesday, every Tuesday, we have conversations on CARICOM, and Ambassador Commichon comes in to share with us. Today, we're taking a look at UNCTAD specifically, but the place Barbados holds on the international stage
and
generally.
COP as well.
You know, so there are many things happening, but we're right there alongside many of our Caribbean sister countries as well. And we know that there was a very strong message presented from the leader of Grenada on how important it is for us to move forward as partners in this global fight against climate change.
Yes, well, you know, Grenada just experienced the devastation of Hurricane Beryl, the earliest Category 5 hurricane ever in the Atlantic hurricane season. So it's important to hear the message that Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell took to COP this year.
The president of COP29, esteemed colleagues, distinguished leaders, I extend Grenada's appreciation to the COP presidency for its commitment to leading us through this pivotal moment in our shared climate journey. Grenada, and by extension CARICOM, stand ready to work in partnership with you toward a successful and truly impactful COP29. What do you say in 2 minutes, 30 seconds that makes a difference? I lead a country that this year experienced, for the first half of the year, a 15-year drought. And then on the first day of the second half of the year, experienced the earliest Category 5 hurricane that devastated our islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And at this very moment, as I stand here, yet again, my island is being devastated by flash flooding, landslides, and deluge of excessive rainfall, all in the space of a matter of a couple hours. That is the reality lived by small island developing states. And so it takes a lot of courage to come to this event. In fact, it's my first, it may be my last. The reality is, we're not here to beg. We're not here to ask for sympathy. We are here to say that it's one planet. It may be small island developing states today. It will be Spain tomorrow. It will be Florida the day after. It's one planet.
And that is indeed a strong message because, you know, from a lot of quarters, it seemed as though it's been a small island developing state thing, but we're seeing the differences on major continents as well.
Yes. Yeah, the effects are global, and Prime Minister Motley actually began with that we are now living in an age of superlatives. You know, today is the hottest day on record, the greatest flood, you know, the greatest drought, and that's climate change. You know, where it can swing from, as the Prime Minister said, Prime Minister of Grenada, half of the year they experience a drought, and then suddenly they hit with this tremendous hurricane. So yes, partnership, we are all in this together. I think that was the crux of his message. You developing countries that have been so reluctant, you who caused this problem, you have been so reluctant to make the resources available to countries that did not cause the problem but are suffering the effects, for us to do adaptation to this climate crisis and mitigation. But you need to bear in mind that we're not asking you for charity, because we share this planet, and all of us are being affected by climate change. So the resources that you put forward, that we can put these measures in place, they're not only going to benefit us, they're going to benefit you as well. It's a partnership. And you know, one of the main issues at COP right now that has been reported is a lot of anguish about what a new Trump presidency will mean for the whole climate change agenda. And here, big news coming out of COP was this interview that Prime Minister Motley gave with the Guardian newspaper of Britain, where she says, she stepped up and said, look, I would like to meet with President Trump so that we could have a discussion and I could explain to him the gravity of this climate crisis and why it will be important that we have that kind of partnership that Prime Minister Mitchell is speaking about. And so we can only hope that President Trump will respond positively to Prime Minister Motley's offer or request for a meeting to discuss the gravity of global warming for the entire world community.
All right. In terms of this position that Barbados now holds with the chairmanship of the Forum for Climate Vulnerable Countries, a so-called V20, what really is the next step for that, the cut and thrust of what will be done with this chairmanship, or what are your general hopes?
Well, bear in mind that Barbados is now at the lead of several initiatives. The Bridgetown Initiative, which we crafted here in Barbados, and we have undertaken responsibility for leading. And incidentally, the beauty of the Bridgetown Initiative is that we are building a global movement behind these ideas for reform of the entire international system, so that we can better deal with the climate crisis, we can deal with issues of human development. Of course, we are the president of UNCTAD, and we are trying to move UNCTAD in that direction as well. But you have mentioned a third initiative that we are chairing. We have just this year, we assumed the chairmanship of the Forum of Climate Vulnerable Countries, or the V20. It started as 20 countries back in 2015, and Barbados was a founder member. But the number of countries now is actually 68. But they still keep the name the V20. And basically, what we are trying to do with our chairmanship of the V20 is basically to have the V20 focus on the critical issues that you find in the Bridgetown Initiative, and the whole idea is these kinds of demands, if they're to be successful, if you are actually to make a breakthrough, it will require focus. It will require mobilizing strength around the demands. It's okay just to put demands out there or ideas out there, but if you don't bring partners together to focus on achieving them and to bring their clout behind the achievement of them, it is not going to happen. And so we are seeing that that approach of establishing the demands, but then mobilizing countries to focus on them, has proven to be very successful. Our ambassador, Elizabeth Thompson, she has been charged with basically undertaking the duties for Barbados's leadership, 2-year leadership of the V20 countries. And so we are looking forward, we are looking forward to see that coalition playing a very big role in helping to drive through and achieve some of these demands that are so well known through our championship of the Bridgetown Initiative.
How much closer are we to the $1 trillion per year mark that we need to be able to tackle climate issues? I believe many countries have pledged, not nearly enough. I think at last count it was around 700 million. But
there was a pledge of 700 million for the loss and damage fund, which is nowhere near
what it
it
needs,
needs to be.
Yeah. So
But-
how much closer are we
Yeah.
to getting the interests of larger countries to be able to meet this $1 trillion a year mark
Right.
that is needed?
Right. So it's two things. We are saying that the international community needs to generate at least $1 trillion US dollars every year to be available for investment in climate mitigation and climate adaptation projects, if we are to have a chance of keeping the global rise in temperature to no more than 1.5, right? So that's the overall figure of financial resources that are required. A subset of that is the loss and damage fund. And we managed to finally get the loss and damage fund. So the loss and damage fund will basically be resources that are there for countries, especially developing countries that did not cause the problem but are suffering catastrophic effects, that where we suffer damage, we can get compensation. So there are two things. So there's the overall stock of financial resources to go towards dealing with the climate problem through investments. And then there is the loss and damage fund. So right now, one of the big issues at this COP is, in the past, we have said, we should be doing 100 billion every year to go for resources to go towards climate change in general. And we are saying 100 billion is not enough. It needs to be, we need to be aiming for $1 trillion. So the question is that right now that they're discussing in Azerbaijan, can we get all the countries of the world to buy into this idea of making $1 trillion available? I guess we have to wait and see if we are successful in that. But secondly, this loss and damage fund, we set it up last year, but you only pledged 700 million, which is nowhere close to what is required. I mean, just Hurricane Beryl, the damage that was done to St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados, Jamaica. We should be getting resources from that loss and damage fund to help rebuild, for example, our fishing fleet, you see? So these are the issues that right now they are discussing. It has been reported that there's been a lot of deadlock, but that in this second week of COP, the ministers, the people with political clout, will be joining the discussions, and hopefully they will bring their political authority to bear, and they will not want this COP to go down as a failure, and that we will get some positive results. So I guess we just have to wait and see, and what transpires over the next 2 or 3 days.
Again, how does this, because you mentioned it briefly, the newly established Coalition for Solidarity levies on carbon-intensive industries. You mentioned aviation, oil and gas. You also mentioned shipping. What role do the leaders see that this will play in trying to, garner much of that money that they need, considering that we've seen considerable profits, even over COVID, with industries such as the oil and gas specifically? Right.
But that's precisely it. You see, because the whole COP process, this UN process, everybody's at the table. There are all kinds of competing agendas and interests, and you can see how difficult it is to get consensus and to make progress. But this bright idea, look, that does not have to be the only, the only process. You can actually bring together a coalition of the willing. And the brilliance of this coalition for these solidarity levies is that you have brought together not just developing countries, but also developed countries. So you have France in the leadership of it. You have Spain as a member of the coalition. You have Denmark. You also have Germany. Germany has assumed observer status within that coalition. So presumably, even while you wait for these big achievements with the whole COP process, if through that coalition you could make a start, these countries that are on board with the coalition, you can put those taxes in place and begin to extract capital resources that could go towards things like loss and damage, that could go towards things like providing resources that small island developing states could deal with adaptation to all the negative effects, the rising sea levels, the increasingly violent hurricanes, the sargassum seaweed, the droughts, all of the attack on our reefs and so forth, all of the negative things that we need money to be able to respond to. So I think that this COP has already been, quote unquote, successful, if only because this coalition was launched at this COP, because it means that the countries that are part of this coalition can move ahead, can put some of these levies or taxes in place and generate resources that can come to countries that really need those resources.
All right, I want to thank you so much as always for sharing with us. Of course, we'll still keep our eyes on what's happening at COP29 as we complete this second week. You can listen out for nightly updates right here on TV8 during the evening news and during our news update for the World at One. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
And just to say, Tisha, although we focus on COP today, just bear in mind that CARICOM is meeting with the President of India in Guyana tomorrow, and then that will be followed by Heads of Government Summit on the issue of crime and violence. And so perhaps next week we could make a report on those two very important CARICOM initiatives.
Absolutely, I look forward to it, especially on the day that we've heard an announcement about the new pollution levels in Delhi being worse than they ever have been. I'm sure that will play a role in what is discussed as well. So look forward to sharing with you next week.
Thank you.
All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados. The time is quickly going by. So if you have to get up and get something done, get moving because it's already 29 minutes before 7. Stay with us though. We go online with the next chapter next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day.
All right, he's here in studio with us. We're talking about Dr. Richard A. Byron Cox, and he's presenting something that's an historical fiction. It's called The Story of Pauline Bramble, and this is just book 1. So good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Barbados.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's certainly wonderful to have you here with us to tell us all about this particular book. This isn't your only book,
no,
but we want to focus a little bit on this particular book today.
Yes.
Before we get into the book itself, though, talk to us about what piqued your interest in reading, I'm sure, and then moving toward being an author.
Well, basically from childhood, I love literature, but I think I first wrote my first poem when I was about 8 years old. And I remember I was in a park one evening. They had a religious gospel meeting. And somehow it didn't pique my interest, so I left and went and lay down on some grass and looked up at the sky, and I saw, you know, these beautiful stars. And all of a sudden I felt great. I felt as if I was the only person in the world. But then again, I felt so very small, you know, watching, and I somehow the other knew I had to put that down. Somewhere, I was only 8 years old, and that resulted in a poem which is called Darkness. That's how my writing began. By the time I was 14, I was doing drum poetry, a lot of it, and then I wrote my first story, which was called The Christmas Recitation, when I was 15. It was aired on radio in St. Vincent when I was about 17. So this is where it all began. But somehow or the other, West Indian literature, somehow or the other told my story, and I think that is what really got me into writing. But I'm first and foremost a trained lawyer and diplomat and international relations specialist. So I worked for the UN for a very long time as a lawyer, and as well, I saw you had David here, Mr. Commission, and he spoke about climate change. Sustainable development is part of what I did as well. So I got tired of that, and my father once said that you have something to say and you have to say it. Whether the world listens or not is another matter. And so I left the UN just to pursue my writing career. Now, this particular book, The Story of Mornin Barbados, I am here this morning because I'm actually Bajan by birth. I spent some time here as a child, but then my mother is Vincentian, so we went there. And then I went to university in Europe. And so I've lived most of my life, more than half of my life in Europe actually. I still live there, and I live in St. Vincent as well. But I'm here because this book is a gift to Barbados for the 58th anniversary of independence and the 3rd year of being a republic. Now, you might ask me why. Well, because the book is called The Story of Mornin Barbados. Who is Mornin Barbados, and why Mornin Barbados? Well, my dear, Mornin Barbados is you. It's your grandmother. It's your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, your great-great-grandfather. It is our story. You see, in the Caribbean, our Caribbean, we love history and we love to recall things because a lot of us grew up with your grandmother and your grandfather and they tell you the old-time stories, you know, and we are all very interested in that. But in terms of professional history, in terms of what actually happened to us, that is usually told statistically, so that you know that in Barbados you had X amount of thousands of slaves, and you had, the country was divided up into estates and so on and so on. But the story is never told from the human standpoint. In other words, how do people actually suffer? So for example, you might know that in Barbados at one time was the jewel in the whole of the British Empire because of sugar. It was the jewel in the crown, you know. After 1627 for a while. And it actually, we used to call Barbados Little England. That's how important it was to the British Empire. And we know how much sugar came out of here and how much slaves work here. But think about this for a moment. What really was the suffering of those people? And how did that shape us today? So for example, there's biological evidence to prove that because of the diet we ate as slave, all the saltfish and stuff like that, our genes have mutated a bit. So high blood pressure medication don't work on the average West Indian who is the descendant of slaves, right? The way it would work on any other people, including black people who were never slaves, you know. So the point is this: how do you tell a story which does three things? One, relate the actual human suffering, not just statistics. It's one thing if I say to you, look, somebody broke in here and killed all of us, right? How many people died? Or 5? That is a mere statistic. But then if somebody comes in here, if I didn't describe, they stab up the interviewer and the interviewee his nose was cut off and his tongue was cut off, it's a different story. You know what I mean? You get a complete different picture right?
Where's the interviewer? Okay, understood.
Yeah.
I want to kind of come back a little bit because you said a lot, and I get that you're saying what you're presenting.
Yes.
Are actual stories.
Yes.
So not just an overview of what happened or a summary, but you kind of get in depth into some of the things that actually happened. So let's delve into this story a little bit more of this lady who is Pauline Bramble.
Yes.
Before we do that, though, we're going to take a quick break and come back right here on Morning Barbados. So again, talking about this book, which I'm pleased to hear you're presenting as a gift for our anniversary. That's coming up in just a little bit. Stay with us.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate.
Welcome back. We're still here with Dr. Richard A. Byron Cox, who is in Barbados specifically to talk to us here at Morning Barbados. Of course, we'd love to believe that. But, welcome home with, all that you've done, being born here in Barbados, living in St. Vincent and the rest of the world. You truly are the definition of a world citizen. Now, I'm very interested in finding out the level of research that had to go into making this, even though it's fiction, to give it historical context and accuracy. Because that's as important to a fictional book like this one that references in a very deep way slavery as is something that is a straight up commentary, I would imagine.
Okay, the book actually took 12 years to write, and it covers from 1800 to 1939. 1800 is just before 1807 when the transatlantic slave trade was banned, and 1939 of course is when the Second World War starts. Right, so it covers the life of the English-speaking Caribbean, our people life during that time. Now, to write a book like this and to make it actually accurate takes a very, very long time. It's not just reading, but it's also sort of communicating with many people, historians. There are quite a few historians who helped me in terms of the facts and the figures, okay? But what I wanted to do was to translate all of that statistical history into living history as regards people's lives. So, for example, as we know, in the 1930s, from 1935 onward, there were riots across the English-speaking Caribbean, and which set up the Mornin Commission, okay, which led to the setting up of the Mornin Commission. And from that onwards, we saw the slow arrival of universal adult suffrage, which will then lead us up into independence. But all of that is just statistical data history. But actually, what happened with people's life? In other words, if you look at our history, you would see that if you were to read The Making of the West Indies or Pre-Emancipation, for example, we are described, black people in this Caribbean of ours, are described as estate stock, not as human beings. So how in heaven's name do you move from estate stock to creating Garfield Sobers, or matter of fact, Mia Motley? How do you do that? How do you create a people who were estate stock and then would arrive to beat the whole world in cricket? You know what I mean? How do you move from estate stock to create Eric Williams, for that matter? How do you do that? What went into that? So, for example, Barbados fell under the suzerainty of Britain about 1625. And then in 1966, okay, the British government said, okay, you're free and go and develop yourself, after they have robbed you of everything. But yet, Barbados arrived on the stage and is one of the most educated countries in the whole world. And the present Prime Minister, Mia Motley, is on the world stage, and many see her as probably the most powerful woman alive today in politics. How do you do that? What went into that? You know, how much did you cry actually? How much sleepless nights? You know, as you know, Clark wrote a book, My Mother Who Fathered Me. Or let's take Lamin in The Castle of My Skin, where he covers all of that. Or, I don't know, if we want to take Metaliza and The Children of Kewana, you know, or The Children of Sisyphus, for example. All of that tells the history of our people in a different way. What I try to do here now, or what I did here now, is to do two things. Firstly, to tell that story in a more in-depth human area, so that you don't just look at numbers or figures, but you see people. But secondly, and more importantly, regardless of the challenge we face today, okay, we have faced so many challenges in the past, and we overcome them. So the point here is a story of, first and foremost, inspiration.
All right, now
okay?
You said this one is book one, and it took you 12 years to get here.
Yes.
You know, based on what you have down within these pages, you obviously see that there's much more for you to share. Will the story follow a natural chronology, as in this one comes up to the early 19th century and the next one will be beyond that? Okay,
well, what happened is that if you look at this, the subtitle of the book is Book 1, Springs, Blossom and Young Thorns. So in the life of this woman, you capture everybody's life. As I say, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on. But this is only her spring, meaning from when she was born until she's about 22, right? The second book is going to be the summer of her life, which is when she now becomes like you, I wouldn't say mature, but a grown woman, okay? And then you're going to have the autumn of her life, when she truly becomes mature. And then you have the winter of her life, and I think you know how that ends. Okay, so it's the spring, the summer, the autumn, and finally the winter.
All right, well, we certainly look forward to it. I look forward to reading the book itself. Seems like it can be a very, very interesting story to read. An intimate tale of the road traveled by former slaves, the poorest of the poor, the disenfranchised, and the all but dehumanized of the Caribbean. And the story goes. I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us. We certainly look forward to the other parts of this presentation. And we don't take for granted the amount of research that would have had to go in to make this historically factual, even though it's fiction, and to make it actual, factual in a Caribbean context. So thank you so much for sharing.
If I may just say that I do have a launch of this book at UE at the 3Ws. That will be on Thursday from 6 to...
Is it open to the general public?
Yes, it's open to the general public. And the book is available at UE Bookshop. Okay, so thank you so much for having me. Okay, and as I said, it is a gift to Barbados for our 58th year of independence and our 3rd year as being a republic. Thank you so much for having me again.
Make sure you get it, The Story of Pauline Bramble. You can pick it up at UE's Bookshop. So make sure that you come on out on Thursday if you can.
Yes, and I'll sign it for you.
Over to look into that. Thank you so much. All right, don't you go anywhere. You know, we are making sure that we take care of what we need to here on Morning Barbados. Now, that means celebrating Barbados and celebrating Barbadians as we have, you know, throughout this entire year, but specifically during the month of our independence. We love to shine a light on positive things that are happening here in Barbados and around the globe. Now, on the 9th of November, that was just last week, the inaugural Philadelphia flight, you know, which holds a special meaning for Barbados, you know, came here to Barbados. We had the CG from the Barbados outfit in New York here in Barbados talking about it. And then, of course, we heard that it was being piloted by 2 Barbadian natives, Captain Dylan Jackson and First Officer Akil Aline. Captain Jackson, only 27 years old, is notably the 2nd youngest pilot to command an American Airlines aircraft. Let that sink in for a moment, Barbadians. Now, for both pilots, the journey home was a proud one, a personal achievement as well. And they had their families flying from Barbados to Philadelphia to celebrate this historic event. Captain Jackson said he left Barbados in 2014 with a dream to one day fly back home as a pilot, and that he did. So we wanted to share that with you because the first officer, Aline, he is a former student of the Dighton Griffith Secondary School, and he first flew into Barbados as an American Airlines pilot back in 2022. So we'd like to salute them on this amazing feat. We are incredibly proud of this. And you'd see, if you look back yesterday, if you didn't watch, we had the Young Eagles, and Captain Dylan was a part of the Young Eagles. They were here yesterday morning talking about how they're working with young people. The 2 pilots have now said they're willing to continue to work with young pilots and those aspiring to jobs in aviation as well. So let's take a look back on that very proud and very special occasion.
Nothing really written down, but as we know, it's an inaugural flight to Barbados. Barbados is where my first officer and myself, Aki, were born and raised. So this one's pretty special for us. It all started with a dream just about 7 years old. My parents first took me to the island, the Barbados Light Airplane Club, where we used to fly Cessnas around just about 20 years ago. I promise you we're old enough to fly the aircraft, right? So we've had a couple of those questions, but yeah, we're old enough. So about 20 years ago, we did our first flight around Barbados in a small Cessna 172, which is a trainer aircraft, if you all are not too aware. And we left Barbados. I left when I was 16, Aki left when he was 18, so he went to New York, I went to Florida. And it turns out about 10 years later, when American first gave us our number for indoctrination at the airline, the last person I saw to walk into class was Aki. So 10 years later, we're back here at the same airline, and being able to play together, you know. This airline has about 6 pilots from Barbados out of 16,200. I did the percentage yesterday, so that's a 0.000375% chance. So the chance of this flight happening with 2 people born and raised in Barbados is extremely slim. So we're super happy that you're here with us to enjoy this special career milestone for myself. Definitely Akil. We have a lot of supportive family members on board. I have about 12 family members that came up from Barbados just to play this flight back down with us. So.
My name is Dylan Jackson. My first officer and I, we just piloted the inaugural flight from Philadelphia to Barbados. Just looking back at the milestones, my career pretty much started just on the south end of that field at Barbados Light Airplane Club about 20 years ago, 2 decades ago. So I mean, when I first showed up to work and I saw Akio, because it's our first time flying today, it was really memorable. It was just, we left here. I left Barbados in 2014 with a dream, and then I came in today and made it a reality, actually piloting the Boeing 737 aircraft. It's always nice when the company entrusts me with $150 million of aircraft, and to be able to bring it back home, especially for the inaugural flight. When I heard the inaugural flight, I made sure to call many colleagues. Crystal, her and I made at least 100 calls to make sure we could make this happen. So it's just a career, I want to say, definitely a career highlight for me. And I'm going to see if Akio has anything else to say.
Yes, this is definitely a career highlight for me. My parents took me to the Light Airplane Club when I was younger, and I would watch airplanes take off and land all day. I would do it every day if I could, But I was so fascinated, and I told my mom every year that I will be a pilot for American Airlines. This is truly a dream come true, and I thank you all for making this happen. This is a special moment.
Truly was a proud moment for their friends and relatives, but for us here in Barbados, as we continue to mark several milestones that make us who we are. And in the next chapter, in the last guest, he talked about the odds of Barbadians doing well on the international stage, considering, as we often say, we're just a little rock in the middle of the sea. So congratulations to them, and I hope it's inspiration to young people all over the place. So for parents who the children want you to park and watch the aircraft, you heard what Akil said, right? He wanted to do it all day if he could. So that might be the start of something major for those little ones. Make sure you cultivate all of those feelings that they have. Validate them. All right, time for another break. When we come back, we're telling you how you can support the Barbados Poppy League. As a matter of fact, before we do, let's get into it, because the Barbados Poppy League, which is a fundraising arm of the Barbados Legion, we saw the Legionnaires, of course, on display at the Remembrance Day Parade 2 Sundays ago. They need our support to help care for our retired veterans. Sadly, some paid the ultimate price with their lives, while others returned home with challenges and injuries and health concerns. Now is our chance to give back, particularly now during the month of November, as we look toward our 58th anniversary of independence and our 3rd year as a republic. Your donation can make a real difference. So helping the league provides essential medical support, housing repairs, monthly stipends for veterans, and their basic needs. Plus, since the Poppy League is a registered charity, donations accompanied by your TAMIS number can be included in your annual tax filing as well. So donating is super easy, as you can do a bank transfer at this time. So it's the Barbados Poppy League. Their main branch is First Caribbean at Sheraton, and the account number is noted here on screen, as well as the transit number. So you know that every contribution counts, and they'll be grateful for our support. Go ahead and help a veteran today. Now, this is a note that came out to all of us here at CBC, urging my colleagues as well to make sure that you support. But you, Barbados, wherever you are across the world, make it happen for our veterans in this month of our independence. Hey, we're going to take that break now and come back with an update of the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7 o'clock on this November 19th. I'm Tisha Hines with your Morning Barbados update of the news. The Ministry of Agriculture is working to alleviate produce shortages in Barbados for the holidays. That's the word from the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security, Indar Ware. He says Barbados will be working closely with authorities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to address the matter. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
Agriculture Minister Indar Ware says there's no need to panic. He says assurances have been given following a meeting with stakeholders and things should be back to normal.
I met with all of the stakeholders today. When I tell you all, I mean all. Fast food restaurants, the supermarkets, the poultry producers, the commodities membership groups, all of them I met with today. And we were given the assurance by the poultry producers that supplies will go back up to last year's level and a slight increase over last year. And we were also given the assurance that we are getting bigger birds now as of today compared to what they were getting on the shelves a week ago. So that is fine. As far as pork is concerned, we don't have any issues with pork. So people should still be able to get pork.
Mr. Ware says the negative comments making the rounds could have an adverse effect on the market, but conceded that the weather did have an impact on produce.
What we dare not do is start to seek to create some kind of panic for people to start hoarding products, because that will not work. And then the other thing is that I do not understand the conversation about prices increasing. I'm not a vendor myself, so I wouldn't know what circumstances might be prevailing that will cause them to say that. But I say to you that the shipments are definitely going to come back, and that should help to release any pressure that the vendors will feel.
The minister is also assuring that eggs would be in regular supply. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
One of the entities responsible for providing vegetables to the public says the excessive rain has been depleting crops for some farmers. Reports indicate there is a shortage of sweet potatoes, which could drive the price as high as $6 per pound, as well as okras, butternut squash, eggplant, cucumbers, and carrots, to name a few. According to Vice President of the Barbados Association of Retailers, Vendors and Entrepreneurs, or BARVIN, local farmers can produce underground crops that will hold their own with the weather. And he suggests they plant bananas, plantains, and some fruit trees to cushion the impact of the shortage of imports.
You have to go into underground crops like potatoes and yams and edibles and things like that. Those things will hold their own. Once it's not in an area where the water will still flood the area, they can hold their own if the rain. But when it comes to the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the watermelons and the sweet peppers and so on, they're not going to survive in this rain.
Now, Mr. Ford, who farms in St. Lucie, says while greenhouses and aquaponics systems are a solution, many farmers do not have the financial backing to start. He says already farmers have to contend with high water prices, and he's calling on government to help in this regard.
If we can get assistance where we can, if we can get a loan somewhere, somehow, or you can get assistance from government, where we can have the products, the raw materials to get the greenhouse going, maybe duty-free, and get a sort of concession where we will have them before and we can pay it back according to how, the crops come out.
The Barbados Association of Retired Persons, or BARP, is condemning the recent robbery of an elderly Drax Hall, St. George woman. President Marilyn Rice-Bowen says the video circulating on social media showing a young man approaching the elderly woman who was making her way home from work and snatching her jewelry is quite disturbing. In fact, Ms. Rice-Bowen says seniors and others should not have to walk around fearful of being robbed and attacked.
What do we do? It's not fair that seniors are not being able to enjoy this country that they built up, where they should feel safe and respected. So I want to appeal to parents to communicate with your children, particularly your boys, and have that level of conversation with them and encourage them to respect seniors.
Ms. Rice-Bowen adds, while she hopes the victim receives professional support, there should be ongoing conversations about how to stop such crimes.
There are persons that would want to address the issue of stiffer penalties. But what we want, the position we want to get to, is that we see fewer of these crimes, because you have to first find the perpetrator, then to take them for, then for them to go for justice, but to be charged, But we want to avoid these instances because these situations traumatize seniors, traumatize them to the point that sometimes they don't even want to leave home.
On the same matter, Acting Communications and Public Affairs Officer of the Barbados Police Service, Sergeant Lizelle Gabriel, says the matter has been reported to the police and is currently being investigated. A women's empowerment program is being encouraged to expand its reach even further. This appeal from Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman. He was addressing a dinner and awards ceremony for the Women of Excellence King's Daughter program. The initiative empowers women through teaching, training, and by the power of the spoken word. Senator Blackman wants to see it replicated across other religious denominations.
Only before, from what I understand, women who have had challenges. This should be a model now for people who just want to empower themselves to go to the next level. Because there are major challenges that we have to confront as a country. A new world is coming with artificial intelligence. The jobs that we need to do in the future require new skills. And women are the backbone of the global economy. And the United Nations has made it clear that if we invest in women, we multiply times and times over. Small economies are driven by the intellect of women. And I would like to encourage this program to have a strong financial literacy component where you can empower women now to move to not just doing small business, but larger business and exporting across the Caribbean, exporting to North America, exporting to Africa, using here as a base.
Barbados is making greater steps to improve the landscape of para sport on the island. In commemoration of Japan CARICOM Friendship Year 2024, the Barbados Olympic Association, Barbados Judo Association, and the Embassy of Japan participated in dialogue to bring about more inclusion. Now, during a panel discussion led by visiting Olympic gold medalists Kiji Suzuki and Paralympian Kuzuki Hatsu, Deputy Director of the National Sports Council, Emerson Bascom, said recruiting sporting talent in Barbados must be geared toward more citizens with disabilities.
We are talking about talent identification. Going forward, I hope that it focuses more on people with disabilities. And finally, I must say that the Paralympics proved to me even more that disability does not equate to inability, and we must strive to put an end to that.
Visually impaired, who performed a judo demonstration with Suzuki, took the opportunity to empower those with disabilities in Barbados.
And third, I think it's imperative that those with disabilities themselves empower themselves, that they arm themselves with knowledge, with skills, so that they appear and can be employable.
障害があってもできることがたくさんあるということを
スポーツを通してパラリンピックや柔道を通して皆さんに知っていただきたいと思っています。
So I feel that my personal mission is that to use sports, especially judo, to show that that those who have disabilities should not limit themselves. That there's many kinds of opportunities open to them.
And that's this morning's update of news. Join us at 12 noon for Newsday. Or if you're on the move, tune into our sister stations, radio stations 94.7 FM, 98.1, The One, or 100.7 FM for the CBC News World at 1 p.m. And that is the news at this time. It's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. Do stay with us here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
On November 30th, get ready for a night of phenomenal performances. Get ready for Soca Goes Gold 6, brought to you by the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust. Proceeds in aid of their 2024 Christmas feeding program. CBC is a proud sponsor of Soca Goes Gold 6.
All right, welcome back. And of course, it's your chance to win big for the Soca Goes Gold 6. We have a big giveaway for you at this time. So the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, as you heard, in association with the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, they have Soca Goes Gold, the Soca Die Edition, and it comes off on Independence Night. So November 30th at Bagatelle Great House. I hope you're listening closely. Starts at 9 o'clock. Super early bird tickets are all sold out. I don't even know why they mentioned it. People always do that. They're gone. Why do we need to know then? All right, but no worries. Regular tickets are now $100, and go to only official box offices to get your tickets or to ticket links. Remember that links is spelled L-I-N-K with a Z at the end. So don't wait until it's too late, okay? Once sold out tickets, once sold out from box offices, tickets are going to be $125 if you can get in at the door. So get your tickets in the early. But we're giving you a chance on Morning Barbados to WIN. That means win. All you have to do is call me up on 228-5562 or 228-5563. So get to the phone lines quickly. For those people who have landlines, it might take a little longer. I just being bad, pay me no attention. But you're going to answer this very special question. So get in here with your phone calls. The question is, name any 3 Bajan artists appearing at Soca Goes Gold 6. And that ticket is yours. How about that? That ticket is absolutely yours. Remember, you can get your tickets at CS Pharmacy, Broad Street, Lucky Horseshoe, Warrens, Worthing at City Centre, Tavern, and also at Bagatelle, Abbeville, iShop, Sheraton Mall, Forever Blessed, Tudor Street, Saul Warrens, Rubis on Coverley, Oasis, that's Massey Worthing and Massey Sunset Crest, Empowered at Sky Mall, A&B Music on Wildy, Sports and Games and Independence Square, and like I told you, online at Ticket Links, or from the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust office by calling 572-4170 or 851-7622. That is 851-SOCA. So it's easy. Do we have anybody on the phone lines as yet? I am ready to go. 228-5562 or 228-5563 is the number you're calling. And I mean, it's simple. I gave you some of the names. The people are right there and they line up next to me, left of your screen, right of me on the screen. You can absolutely see them. And no, the people in here cannot win. Someone in the studio is saying, me, I have the answer. You get a chance to go to this incredible show, but more importantly, you're supporting a very worthy cause. I know the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, they do incredible work through their various programs. They have a back-to-school program. They do a feeding program. They have a program that they do for 11 plus as well. So, you know, there are many, many things going on with the trust. And of course, I don't have to tell you about the work of the Sandy Lane Trust as well. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, where are you calling us from?
Calling from St. Michael.
Where in St. Michael?
Bajan.
Bentham's?
That's right, yes, please.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of Bentham, St. Michael. I know Bentham, St. Lucie. Anyway, do you have the answer to the question? The question is, name any 3 Bajan acts appearing at Soca Goes Gold 6. Go.
Yes, please. Alison Hines.
Alison Hines.
Gabby.
Gabby.
Bruce Chandler.
And Bruce. Were you looking at the poster? It's okay to say yes.
No, I listened to the lady. I was listening to the lady earlier.
All right. Well, congratulations to you. What's your first name?
Margaret.
Margaret, congratulations. So you're right. Gabby is going to be there. iWeb will be there. Allison is going to be there. Edwin, Mardsville, Kimberly Innes, Barry Chandler, Natalie, TC. So you had many names from which to choose. And you are a lucky winner. Congratulations. Do not hang up. Our wonderful line producer today, Jackie. Welcome, Jackie, back to the family. Jackie is going to take your information. All right?
Yes, please.
All right. I hope to see you there. Bye-bye. Have a great day today. All right. So if you keep on listening, you can win too. You can win big for Soca Goes Gold. How about that? But if you don't win, you, of course, can get your tickets. It's all for a worthy cause. And reaching out to our corporate friends as well. I know that you guys love to, you know, vet sometimes, literally, figuratively sometimes, but you love to vet your great customers. So this is an opportunity to maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So get those tickets, share with your good customers, the people who are service providers for you perhaps, and support the worthy cause as well. So we're going to bring it back home to the studio right now and welcome a few of our neighbors to Mornin Barbados as well. So we're going to reach out to our good friends next door at the SJPI to talk about a week of activities that's coming up. That's all next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why? Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's heading up to 7:20. If you have someone to give you a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, you know, a nice warm cup of something with a little lemon, you are very, very lucky this morning. I don't see anything anywhere here. Anyways, I hope you have a great day today, whether you're heading out to work, you're home and retired, whatever you do, be safe, particularly as you head out to the streets across Barbados. All right? Now, I told you our neighbors were going to come over, and it's always good to share with your neighbors. So maybe that cup of tea was for a neighbor. Unfortunately, I don't have any cups of tea from my neighbors who are here from the Division of Human Ecology at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology, SJPI. They're here to tell us about a week of activities that will be coming up. So good morning to you, Instructor Lisa Holder.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Also with us is Ariane Rollock, who is a student in the division. Good morning to you, Ariane.
Good morning.
And Marissa Marshall, who is also an instructor with the division.
Good morning.
Good morning. Wonderful to have all of you here with us.
Thank you.
And congratulations on all the work that your division has been able to do. Before we jump into it, talk to us a little bit more, Lisa, about exactly what the area that you instruct in at SJPI.
Okay, well, I am a garment technology instructor, and this year I'm teaching the second year students, and Ariane is one of my students.
All right, what about you?
I'm also a garment technology instructor at the SJPA, and Ariane is my best student because I would have taught her in first year. Now she's with Miss Holder for the second year.
Good stuff. So on to you, Ariane. Tell me what initially piqued your interest in this particular area.
From young, I've always loved designing clothes, and I just said, let me go make it, you know. And when I went to Springer, I decided I would do the course, and I did it, and I said, let's go to SJPA and do more, because I said, why not do it from scratch? And then so.
All right, that's good stuff. I love it. I'm always trying to figure out how to sew on buttons or put in a zip or do something, some piece of warped elastic. I know that happens to everybody, but I definitely should probably make my way over to be a part of it. So talk to me a little bit more about that, Ms. Holder, exactly. You know, or maybe I should start with first year in talking about, you know, how the program works.
Okay, so for our particular garment technology, it could be a 1-year or 2-year program because it's optional if you want to return to do the second year. So with the first year program, it covers the basics. So you look at skirt making in semester 1, bodices and dresses in semester 2. As you go on to the second year, you will do the more advanced stuff, so the swimsuits, working with special fabrics, main clothing and stuff like that, pants. And it's a little bit more difficult, but it's very much more exciting with the second year program.
So the first year instructor said that your particular year is far more exciting. What say you?
I do agree because, you know, in first year, you're more restricted to specific styles, and everybody has to basically do the same thing. So for instance, first year we're going to do a tailored skirt. Everybody does a tailored skirt from the same type of fabric. Then we go on to second year, everybody again does the same thing, is the blouse or the skirt. But in second year, no, Ariane was privy, one of her first assignments was actually a swimsuit. And like Marissa said, handling special fabric, spandex is actually one of those special fabrics. So that's the reason we would have started with swimwear, because, you know, you want to encourage them, you know, swimwear, summer, everybody loves to do those kind of things. So swimwear was one of the first things we did. And the second thing we went on to do in second year was our active wear. That's another exciting thing, because and another special fabric. Yeah.
Ariane, I saw you smiling big time. What has the experience been like for you so far?
It's been fun, like, because I come up with very special ideas, and my teacher is like, okay, no one else is doing this, I'll let you do it. And it's really interesting because you haven't done it, but you get to try it, and you make mistakes and you still get it done.
Well, that's what fashion is all about. It's about breaking boundaries.
And you can make your mistakes into something new.
Yeah, absolutely. So during this week, you're going to be showcasing all of the things that the department does. What does that entail?
The We will have the garment technology, which will be showcasing the clothing and stuff like that. We will have mini shows. Home economics will also be showcasing like products that they would have made, and they're also going to have a team truck competition running 2 days throughout the week. So the students and stuff that will be visiting the school will be able to be a part of this competition and watching the students in home economics compete against one another. The students from massage therapy, they will be offering massages. The students from hairdressing, they would be having displays with different hairstyles and stuff like that. Students from beauty therapy will be doing mini manicures and mini pedicures. The nursing auxiliary students would also be having health booth, so you can get your health checks done as well.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
will be happening.
And that's not even all, because in the she didn't finish all with nursing. They're also outsiders. Well, I'm saying outsiders loosely, but the Cancer Society will also be coming, and the Heart and Stroke Foundation will also be a part of our week of activities as well.
So they're going to come in to offer
all sorts of checks
and
yes,
stuff like that. When does it come off, and how can we, neighbors and other people, friends and relatives, come out to support the students?
It will be November the 25th to the 28th, and you just need to come in. Well, for the schools, we have invited the secondary schools to come in, so they, through their guidance officer and the principal, they would have accepted the request to come. So we have several schools that will be coming onto campus on that day. During that week, sorry.
That's beautiful. Now, Ms. Marshall, this is a great way to be able to showcase to potential students, now currently secondary school students, all of the wonderful ways that they can pick up subjects at SJPI.
Yes, that's one of the objectives for this entire week, where we can capture the students' attention from early, even those in primary school as well, so that they will know what is being offered at the SJPA. By the time they're ready to finish secondary school, they will know the programs they can sign up for and the possibilities that lie here at the institution.
Oh, that's wonderful stuff. You know, going to this institution for you, Ariane, you know, how is it different from maybe going to school at Springer? You'd still get to wear a gorgeous uniform, but I would imagine things are a little different.
It's a lot different because I went to school with girls, like.
I know they're boys.
Yeah, and it's better, but it's still concerning a little bit, because being pretty, you know, they're like always behind you, and it's like, okay, yeah. It's fun. It's fun though. It's fun.
Oh, I'm still laughing.
Yeah, it's fun though.
All right, but I found that this new generation, they're brutally honest. You know what I mean? Like, no PC, Gene, nothing about being politically correct at all. But that's a positive. I absolutely love that. For parents who are looking on and thinking about, you know, whether this can be a possibility for you again, you know, what are some of the differences in terms of navigating a learning space like this as compared to a classroom setting where teachers kind of monitor, they're more in monitor mode than maybe at an SJPI?
Well, in my opinion, my teachers are they're more there. Like, you can go to your teacher and ask for assistance at any time. When I was in my other school, it was not as easy, and it wasn't always there. So when I went here, it was like, okay, I'm comfortable. I can go to my teachers, ask them for something. And when I'm behind, you can always be like, ma'am, I need assistance, or can you go through something again? Yeah.
All right, so generally you said that you've always been intrigued by design. Yes. Now you've moved to this next step. What are your hopes for your career?
I want to be a fashion designer, and I want to help people that aren't as fashion critique, if that's the word. I want to help them to be able to put on what they like and say, this is me. That's what I want.
Right. So be bold in your fashion choices.
Yes.
I love that. You know, what would you say, Ms. Marshall, to, you know, the average parent or a young person about why they should come out for this week of activities?
It will be a week of fun activities happening. If it's a parent, your students, your child and stuff like that will be able to see the different things that we offer. You'll be able to be exposed to different jobs that will be available in the area. So, you know, persons may say, okay, garment technology, so you will be need a worker. But there's so much more you can be if you study garment technology. So this would open up the eyes of both the parents as well as the children, the students that are out there.
To the possibilities that
Yes.
exist. I love that. And from you, your thoughts on or your encouragement for students and the general public alike to support this initiative?
Well, I want to say come on down. We have a lot of exciting things that will be going on. For instance, we have we're going to have a treasure hunt that will specifically be for students who are students specifically, students that are interested in the fashion area. We also have other fashion activities involved, and you know, there's, like Marissa said before, we have Team Chopped. So I do encourage everybody to come on down.
And I'm told there will be hands-on demonstrations,
yes, for
as
sure.
you mentioned before. What are you looking forward to most?
To get a massage from the massage students.
Will you have time?
I don't know. My students have a few shows to put on. There's an upcycle assignment that they have to present.
Okay.
Yes.
For those people who don't know, what's upcycling?
Upcycling is we taking something old and making something new. So their assignment this semester, the beginning semester, was supposed to take old denim and anything else you want to put with the denim, the jeans, and create a new garment. So I have a student who's going to be doing something, an outfit that has a lot of ties. Then I have another person who is Ariane. Ariane has a specific, you know, I could like to call her my cute goth girl. So she likes, she's a goth girl, but she doesn't wear black. She likes a lot of pretty colors. Yeah. So her assignment, for her design, well, she was, honestly, originally she was saying she using her neon colors, but she wavering. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun during that week. Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Ariane? What are you looking forward to most? I know you have to do showcasing, but with all the other areas on display, even with the boys showcasing, I'm sure you will want to support them as well.
Although it's still in my field, I am looking forward to modeling. Like, I love it. It's so much fun. Like, you put on what you made. Like, you did that. So I'm ready to do that.
All right, that's good stuff. What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm also looking forward to the fashion shows because my first year students will be also involved. And I'm looking forward to the home economics displays with the sampling of the different foods and stuff like that. I like to sample stuff.
You like to eat.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to that.
All right. So, I mean, this is like an entire week of activities. What would you say for the students whom you've encountered for the time that you've been at the SJPI? You know, what would you say generally about some of the differences that they encounter when they come to school over at SJPI as compared to secondary school that they should be mindful of?
Honestly, because I have taught in the secondary school before, I think that the student coming into SJPI, they more know what they're ready to do, for lack of a better word, and they're more, funny enough, I think that they're actually moldable at this stage to me because they're a different age. So yeah.
I saw you nodding in agreement, Ms. Marshall.
I taught at secondary school as well, and Ariane was my student when I was teaching at secondary.
Yeah.
And after meeting her again when she came into SJPA, she was a different person.
Yeah.
She was more serious because she decided to sign up for this program. This is what I want to do. So she was a total different person than when I taught her at the secondary school.
Yeah.
So I
She was a little more mischievous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Is that true?
Probably not settled.
Yeah.
I wasn't because I think we were doing the theory of the subject. And I do not like theory. I like more doing it than, but Miss Marshall made it fun sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, the theory is important because it's important to really know. And sometimes it can feel as though this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Will I ever need to be able to use this trigonometry while I'm sitting here interviewing somebody? But it all comes in handy and it helps make you a rounded person. And I think at this age where you're thinking, hey, I got to make some money, it kind of creates a different spin. So let's reinforce everything that the Division of Human Ecology will be taking on from September 25th to November 28th. by reminding everybody of all the demos, all of the different departments that, the different sections that will be participating, or the areas of study, and what they'll be doing.
Okay, so we have nursing auxiliary, and they will be performing different health checks, blood pressure readings, blood sugar taking, and along with the Heart and Stroke Foundation and Barbados Cancer Society will be coming in. We have massage therapy. They will be performing several massages throughout that week. Then there's also home economics. They will have team chopped along with different displays of different confectionaries. There's also catering. Catering will be doing, they have different demonstrations, obviously, with food as well. Home ec. Then there's another home ec. Will have a sample booth. There's beauty therapy. Beauty therapy, they will be doing the mini manis and pedis. Then there's hairdressing, and they have the demos. And we also, by the way, we didn't talk about our first aid instructor. He's coming in, and he will doing an assimilation in the first aid. And last but not least, we have garment, and we will have several fashion shows and different activities in the garment section.
Okay, is it going to run during school time? What are the hours?
From, I think, Marissa,
from
10?
Like 10.
Yeah, from 10 until 3:30.
3:30.
Yeah.
10 to 3:30 on all those days.
Yes.
All right, so I'm intrigued. I'm thoroughly intrigued. Definitely want to come out and see what's on offer. I often see the students walking by and this and that, but I have never been inside the institution.
Well, you better come and get it.
Never darken the doors.
It's huge.
Yeah,
It's huge.
It is.
So this is definitely my opportunity to see it from inside rather than looking on from outside. How did you get into this particular area, Miss Marshall?
Miss Holder is actually my teacher years back. First time I was in secondary school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. At that point in time, I didn't know in what area, but by the time I got into the food and nutrition class, I knew it was home economics, that particular area. So I would have studied from the food aspect first at Pomerine, and then I would have decided, let me try the needlework, because I know the food teacher will also have to teach needlework at secondary school. So going to study the garment at SJPA was actually an afterthought. And then I ended up liking it more than the kitchen.
Economics.
Yes. So after that, I went on then to do my studies at Ernestine, do my degree in education. I taught at Springer first, and then from there I went over to the SJPA, and here I am today.
Okay,
and education is my passion.
All right, I can tell. I see how your eyes light up when you talk about it. You know, the smile, everything. And that was cultivated in part
honestly,
by you.
Yes, and I used to tell people, this girl, like, we have gelled so much from the time she was a student, and from the time I met her, honestly, she said she wanted to be a teacher. So when she first applied to be a teacher, I know I can say this, she didn't get the forward that I felt she should have gotten, and she should have. So you know what she did? She created her own teaching experience in her home.
Wow.
Yeah, so that when she got her next interview, she was able to say, well, I have taught.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when she got the call to apply to SJPI, and she was like, Miss Holder, what to do? I was like, how you mean what to do? By the time you met me, you wanted to be a teacher. Like, how you mean what to do? Come and do the interview.
Yes.
Come and get the job.
That was beautiful. And I mean, it says a great deal that, you know, she didn't wait, you know, for someone to create a space for her. She was able to do that through just being empowered by, I guess, virtue of wanting it that much. For your journey, though, it seems like we might have to go back a few decades.
I'm actually older than I really look. But you know what? I do enjoy. I actually went to the institution as a student as well, and I was there for 17 years, and I actually do enjoy my job. I love my job, honestly. I do. Yeah. I don't know what more to say other than I love my job.
Garment construction more than anything else?
Well, we teach pattern and garment. I like both. I actually enjoy both. Honestly, it is a joy to see a student take a piece of flat fabric and turn it into a three-dimensional garment. And I love it. I just love it.
Do you still have time to be able to do stuff for yourself, or are you strictly teaching?
Well, I like as I said, the carpenter, your clothes never finish and that kind of stuff. So we used to be now finishing clothes the night before or the morning you're going to an event. Yeah, well, not this outfit this time, but yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, she's guilty.
Yeah, you're guilty too? Yeah, so these are all original designs?
Yeah, we make everything we sew.
This was last.
We sew everything we wear.
This was last night.
You made this last night?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. This is some amazing stuff. You wanted to say something, Ariane?
I was telling you, I saw when they were just pieces of fabric on the table.
Yeah, she did.
And Mom was like, I want to make something. And just yesterday, Mom was like, I want to make something. I want to look good.
Look good, they do.
Yes, they do. They do. And I'm like, wow, that's inspiring, because you get to do something you like to do as well. It's also teaching. That's nice. Like, my teacher, when she was teaching us, she always used to say she doesn't like just sitting down there. She always did something. Even Miss Marshall, she's just got, Miss Holder, sorry. They're always doing something. Apart from helping you, they're always doing something.
All right, what about you? Cool. Is there anything that's your favorite thing to make at this stage?
So far, I like making skirts. They're really fun. The bathing suit, that's like really fun to do. Although it was a little stressful, it's fun. I like doing that. So I would probably make more as I go on. But yes, please. Yeah.
All right. So you said that you hope to be a fashion designer in future. Are there any designers locally or otherwise that you look up to?
Not currently. Yeah. I actually don't know how I was inspired to do this. I just one day I liked watching Barbie and her dresses. Like, I think it was a fashion show one. She just stood there on the stage and her dress turned into something totally different. And I told my mommy, I want to draw this. And I sat there next to her and drew the whole thing. And I have my little book full of dresses and I cannot find it. But that was my inspiration. And I went from drawing into the book into on a stage on the board at lessons. And my teacher was like, you have to do this, you have to do this. So I said, all right. I pushed myself to do it, although it was like something hard and expensive. You have to do what you like to do and use the talent. Don't just wait around until the opportunity comes. Just push to do it.
Absolutely. And that's the second time this morning that we've had a young person on the show saying, this is something that I like to do that a parent who didn't pay enough attention wouldn't have necessarily put the steam necessary behind it. We had a young man who was saying he just wanted to go watch the planes land at the end of the roundabout, and now he's a pilot for American Airlines. Flew into Barbados just last week. And here she is talking about she was watching Barbie, a Barbie fashion show on television. And now here she is as a student in the Human Ecology Department at the SJPI and looking forward to showcasing some wonderful pieces. Yes, do you have that jeans piece together that Miss Holder talked about that you're kind of flip-flopping about, or are you waiting to the very last minute too?
It's almost there. It's coming together slowly but surely. I'm not there yet, but it's coming. Yeah. You'll see it.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is on. Tell me a little bit more about your students. We're happy to have Ariane here with us, but generally talk to me about the mix of students. I would imagine as you move from student to student, their ideas will be so different. How they want to approach the garment making and so on. So talk to us about the student complement.
Okay, well, in the first year program is much easier. As Lisa, what I said earlier, we do basically the same thing. So it's much easier to control. Everybody have different learning styles, so sometimes you don't catch everyone at the same time. So that will also make it difficult. It becomes more difficult in the second year where everybody have their own creative ideas. Everybody have all of these garments, because I would have taught second year 2 years ago, and everybody have so many designs, and I'm only one person having to look at everybody the designs and figure out how to help them, get through with it, how to do the pattern. So for instance, when I did the fashion show, I had 8 students, and each student did 10 pieces. These are 10 different pieces to one instructor having to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of work, but it is fun. I also learned throughout the process as well, because it's not a case where I always made everything that they show me. So it opened my eyes, and I learned with them as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. What about you?
What Marissa said, because I've been doing it so many years now, honestly, it's not as hard, but it is definitely more work in second year, because I have 11 students right now. So 11 students, 11 different outfits, 11 different ideas, right? And then there's also a male I have.
11 different personalities.
11 different personalities for sure. Yeah, but honestly, it's fun. It's actually fun.
All right, so I'd encourage everyone to come out the 25th to 28th of November. That's just next week. Make sure you're going over to the SJPA 10 o'clock to 3:30.
Yes, please.
On all of those days to get a peek into their planned open week activities. And it will be far more than just regular activities. It's a bit of an expo as well. You get to engage with the students. So it's going to be an interesting week. I definitely will come over to be sure and maybe capture a little bit of it to share with our Morning Barbados audience.
Yes, you should.
All right, and look out for this fashion designer here, Miss Ariane Rollock, in future, right?
Yes, please.
All right, we're going to show you this video in a couple of years, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, was that me? I can't believe I said that. All right, thank you all for coming in. Lisa Holder and Marissa Marshall are both instructors in the division over at the SJPI, and Ariane Rollock is a student in that division of human ecology over there at the SJPI. Wonderful to have our neighbors in with us on Morning Barbados. Hey, it's time for another break here, but when we come back, we're playing a little music for dancing, particularly as we pay tribute to our beautiful island, Barbados, during this month, the month of our independence, and the month that we've moved toward Republican status as well. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
10 minutes to go before the 8 o'clock hour. We wanted to get you moving this beautiful morning as we get you in independence mode. We're going to play you a song now that has become one of those songs that's synonymous with authentically beautiful and engaging Bajan music. This one from Shirley Stewart.
And head on down the line. Maybe it's me, maybe it's them. I'll never understand. But I'll walk away from love once more. And I'll walk away from love once more. Yeah. I'll walk away from love once more, like I've always done before. I hail from a strong family that struggled through the years. Can I find one that's right for me and overcome my fears? Maybe it's me, maybe it's them. I'll never understand.
So I want to keep the music in the background too, guys, because we're going to encourage you to call in once again. So you're calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563 because that song is celebrating an anniversary this year. So if you can tell us the anniversary that Walk Away From Love is celebrating, we'll be super impressed. I know that you've loved that song for a long time, and there are a lot of people who hear it who still don't know it is done by Barbadian Shirley Stewart. But it's a big anniversary for Walk Away From Love in 2024. When was this song originally made, and what's the anniversary that Shirley Stewart is celebrating this year with that iconic Barbadian song? I'm sure lots of you are asking aunties or people who are a little older. You might know yourself and might have stories of hearing the song for the first time. I most certainly have heard many, many stories about how people heard the song and they didn't even know that it was an original Bajan song. Of course, we've seen Shirley Stewart right here on TV8 talking about his days growing up right here in the country in Barbados, and how he entered many singing competitions and kind of came out on top for his community. And they were the ones who helped to push him to continue to share the music. So what's the anniversary that Walk Away From Love is sharing in 2024? 228-5562 or 228-5563, and it would be wonderful to hear from someone little. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Where are you calling me from?
St. Michael.
Where is it, Michael?
Map Hill.
Map Hill. What's your first name?
Angela.
Angela, you're also a neighbor. Do you know the anniversary that Walk Away from Love is celebrating in 2024? How many years has the song been around?
I think 94.
Since 94?
Mm-hmm. Not so long.
I think that you're right.
Are you right?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me see. Is she right with the 94? No, you're not right, Angela.
Not right. Almost. Before or after?
It's before.
Oh, before. Okay.
So that would be what, 30 years? It's older.
Oh, older.
Did you think it was you thought it was younger? Okay, so not 94 people. No. That's incorrect, Angela.
It must be 89 then.
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
Older, but you're getting warm, Angela.
You're getting warm?
You want to try one more time? You're getting warm like the weather.
85 then.
1985? So that would make it how many years, Angela?
45.
You're getting cold, Angela.
Let me see. 80 is 44. Oh, 40. I think 49. I just guessing quickly.
No, Angela.
80, 45. Oh, I think 49 years. Who? 39?
Angela, you're right, man. Congratulations. 39. You absolutely win. It's 40 years.
Yeah, it's 40 years.
You were dabbling in numbers so close, I couldn't just leave it. But now we know that Walk Away from Love is celebrating 40 years. Do you have any special memories at all when it comes to that particular song, about the first time you heard it or what you thought about the song itself?
If the first time I heard say like it sounded real good. It is a touching song.
Yeah. Are you a dancing lady? Did you go out to all the Wi-Fi's in the past? Did you go out to party?
Sometimes.
And can you dance?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
All right, so I'm sure you dance to Walk Away from Love. Thank you for coming in.
I hear it sounds so new. It still sounds so new.
It sounds fresh.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Miss Angela, from there, right next door in 2 Mile Hill. Wonderful to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in to Morning Barbados. All right, so that's it. 40 years in 2024. 40 years celebrating Walk Away from Love. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we wrap today's show and tell you all about what's coming up tomorrow, Wednesday. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, well, just a few minutes to go, we'd like to remind you about that poppy appeal that we made a little bit earlier. Remember, it's easy to get online and share. Everybody's online, you're transferring. Any little bit that you can contribute will make a difference, helping the league provide essential medical support, housing repairs, and monthly stipends for veterans who are in need at this time. So that's the best way to show your support to our fellow Barbadians as well. All right, so make sure that you share in that regard. Hey, coming up on tomorrow's program, we are going to be saluting men. That's right. Today is the International Day that's dedicated to men, International Men's Day 2024, and it's always celebrated on November 19th. This year, it falls today, Tuesday, and it highlights through the theme the importance of having positive role models. So it says positive male role models. It talks about the importance of fostering open conversations about men's health, mental health, and creating supportive environments. So you can listen out for more on that tomorrow. Also coming up tomorrow, the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados will tell you more about the Shirley Chisholm project. The BDF Armory Tour, it was a big hit last year and it's back this year. We'll tell you more about that. Plus, we are going to have some talk about health and men, like we told you, and there's going to be another SoCo Goes Gold giveaway. So let me take this opportunity to do a big shout out to all of the men who work with us here on Morning Barbados. Good morning to you, Chris. Good morning to you, Peter. Good morning to you, Ruel. From time to time, we have Mr. Sobers in the sound booth. We have young Tristan working with us as well. So to all the men here at CBC as well, happy International Men's Day to the men and boys in my life, and look forward to that further discussion coming up tomorrow. On behalf of the producer today, Jackie Agard, and the entire team, have a great day.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.